So we've got an interesting first race of the day in the junior brigade after their qualifying groups have been split into 4. And that means that we're going to have 4 groups battling away with each other. Last time out in Valencia for the Winter Cup, it was the domination of the number 24, Mari Boyer, that was the big news story. But this time, it's going to be a lot harder for the Spaniard because he was beaten to ultimate pole position by the Bulgarian ace, Georgi Dimitrov for Fusion Motorsport, who lines up on the front row of the starting grid alongside Mari Boyer. Then we have the Dutchman for Fusion, Dilano Van Toff, alongside the French local Esteban Masson. Josh Ratican and Remo Kadapik will be on the third row from Luca Leistre and Sam Balota, the 2 Belgians, with Oliver Pilker and Maxi Meyer rounding out the top 10. Drivers just heading down to the front end of the pit lane area so that the officials can have a final word with them, as they always do, just to let them know how the ebb and flow of the race will go, and they will, of course, dictate what happens. There's going to be some very interesting challenges in the 2018 IAME X30 Euro Series from talented drivers from all over Europe and even further afield as well. And don't forget, these guys are aiming to be the next Sebastian Vettels, Fernando Alonso's and Lewis Hamilton's in the world of motor racing, and quite a few of them have the potential to go there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all unfolds over the course of this first weekend of the season. But the Bulgarian Georgi Dimitrov lines up on pole position, the 12-year-old who's based in Newmarket in Great Britain. He's been a British Mini X30 and Grand Prix champion in the past, and it's great to see him at the front end of the field here this weekend, putting on some very exceptional times. We can just see the drivers in deep conversation there with the race officials as they make sure everything is tickety-boo and that they know what the score is. And now the drivers will make their way to the karts. And there are 26 of them to get into their karts. And I'm delighted to say that one of those is the German Daniel Gregor, who those weren't watching the stream yesterday, of course, because we didn't have one. But during the qualifying session yesterday, Daniel Gregor had a very nasty accident where he was basically on his flying lap. A few other karts came out of the pits to start theirs, and one of them tagged Daniel Gregor as he came out of the final turn, and Gregor was already hot on the power. The back end of the left side of the kart clipped the other kart as he exited the pits, and Daniel Gregor flipped and went end over end at full power. So he's a little bit shaken. We thought for a moment it was going to be a little bit nastier than it was, but fortunately Daniel Gregor emerged unhurt, very shocked, but ultimately unscathed. And thank goodness I can tell you that he is going to be racing today. They've got a kart ready for him. They've done some work overnight, and he seems to be perfectly okay. He was back to his best in the warm-up session this morning, and he didn't even look like anything had happened to him yesterday. He just looked the ordinary Daniel Gregor speedster that we know him to be. Some very talented drivers in this field in the IAME X30 European Series X30 Junior class. This is the first qualifying heat for Groups A and B for the 2 qualifying groups. And it's going to be interesting to see how things currently go. Now I have picked up some adjustments to the X30 Senior results. Unfortunately, it does look like there have been some deductions and some time penalties for various front fairing nose cone problems. So just to give you an updated result, well, we'll have to do that a little bit later because the drivers are coming out onto the grid for X30 Junior qualifying heat A and B. It's Georgi Dimitrov and Mari Boyer on the front row of the grid from Dilano Van Toff and Esteban Masson. Joshua Ratican and Remo Kadapik on the third row, then Luca Leistre and Sam Balota. Oli Pilker and Maxi Meyer round out the top 10. Then it's Joshua McLean and Alex Ivanov on the 6th row. Enzo Juliet and Ken Oscar Algre. Then it is Hugo Belderomov and Matis Malinovskis. Then the French lady, Lola Lavinfos and Jaiva Dadley of Kenya. Then it is Victor Soulan and the British lady, Alicia Barrett. Then Jerzy Spinkovic, Tom Leben, Noam Abramcic, Philip Danileko, Jasper Hassanen, and the German Daniel Gregor. So the 26 drivers just making their way around the circuit in fine formation at the moment as they hope for a good run around the circuit. So the drivers neatly in position as they run around the formation lap in the hope that everything will be fine and dandy. And from the front of the grid, Georgi Dimitrov is in a very comfortable position. having been faster than the favourite going into this one, Mari Boyer. Oh, Daniel Gregor is not on the circuit, I can tell you that. He's just standing behind me in the pits, actually, and it looks as though he has an issue with his shoulder blade, unfortunately, which is something that they've obviously looked at this afternoon. He can't have apparently he's struggling to turn left from what they are telling me, so it looks as though Daniel Gregor will sadly miss at least this first race, if not the entirety of the rest of the day, which is a real shame, and hopefully Daniel Gregor will be back to his best after a day of convalescence. So they're saying that he's basically been telling me that he is struggling with left-hand corners, and that's going to be a real problem around here because there are quite a few left-hand corners around this Salisbury circuit. So it's a real difficulty for the German, but hopefully he will be back to his best as soon as is humanly possible. They could be just after a day of rest and a little bit of physio. He might be back to his best tomorrow, we hope. So let's see how it goes. But Georgi Dimitrov and Mari Boyer on the front row of the grid as they form up in formation around the circuit. The Dutchmen, Delano van Toth and Esteban Masson. Joshua Ratican and Remo Kadapik, Luca Leistra and Sam Balota on all Belgian fourth row. And then Oliver Pilke and Maxim Meyer. With Josh McLean and Alex Ivanov, Enzo Juliet and Ken Oscar Algra, Hugo Belderomov and Matis Malinovskis, Lola Levinfoss and Jaiver Dadley, Victor Sulan, Alicia Barrett, Josef Spinkovic, Tom Leben, Noam Abramcic. Then we have Filip Danalaiko and Jasper Hassanen. So as we've mentioned, the only non-starter is the German Daniel Gregor, still recovering after last year's tumble in qualifying. So that leaves 25 of them to go to battle here in this one. And this formation lap's taking an awfully long time. We're getting an awful lot of steam coming off the carts because we've formed up in our rows very, very early, it has to be said. And there's a lot of steam pouring off these engines. You can always tell when these carts are being held in formation for a long time because there's an awful lot of steam and smoke coming off the carts. They shouldn't be held at idle for too long. They're actually going to be, they're just being held a little bit in position. I think there's a couple of carts that are out of line. So hopefully they're going to be put back into position in time for the race to get started. But it is going to be Georgi Dimitrov and Mari Boyer. It looks like a bit of a rock concert down at turn 16 with all that smoke and steam as the carts file it into position. A lot more than normal. Now they're going to be held in position. They're going to spread out to their two rows. They've got a bit of speed on them now, and it is going to be a start. Georgi Dimitrov and Mari Boyer bang wheels as they battle for position, but Mari Boyer's down to third position in the early stages. Delano van Toth, the Fusion Motorsport teammate to Georgi Dimitrov, has come straight through, and there's an off at turn 2. There's an off already. So looks as though it's a quick recovery, but we've had a couple of carts come off the circuit there at turn 2, and there's a little bit of jostling and banging of wheels, so we may have a few front fairing issues at the end of this race, but it's perfect for Fusion Motorsport. Their two boys, Georgi and Delano, are in first and second place, with the Spaniard, Mari Boyer, in third position. That's the first time he's broken sweat in this paddock all season, really. So a difficulty there for the X30 Juniors. They've only got an 8-lap heat this time. But Georgi Dimitrov in front of Delano van Toth, and this is exactly what these two wanted to have at the start of this race. A clear bit of track in front of them, so Delano and Georgi will certainly work together to try and get away from the rest of the field. Mari Boyer is there in third place. Fourth place is the 37 of Josh Ratican. Good start from him. Remo Kadapik's down to sixth position. I think he's in there behind Esteban Masson, the Frenchman. So across the line they come. Seventh place is the 127. That's Luca Leistra in front of Pilke, Balota, Ivanov, and Juliet. Look at that, battling for position. Delano van Toth gets past Dimitrov, and so too does Mari Boyer. So a dramatic change to the order then as Georgi Dimitrov goes down to third position. Mari Boyer sweeps past as well. So Delano van Toth takes the lead of the race, the Dutchman, leading in this battle. But Mari Boyer is going straight for the move on the inside of turn 6, and he's through, and so too goes Georgi Dimitrov. So Delano van Toth drops now down to third position as Mari Boyer makes the move. And Mari Boyer leads, but Delano van Toth gets back past his teammate Georgi Dimitrov. You two need to stop battling because Mari Boyer is getting away. Out of the final section of that part of the course, into 11, up towards 12 and 13. The field very close through here as the top 6 are all together. Fourth place is Josh Ratican. Fifth is, no, that's Esteban Masson in fourth place. My apologies. He's got back past Josh Ratican. Remo Kadapik is there in sixth place, the Estonian as well. He was a whisker faster than Mari Boyer in warm-up this morning. They were running around the course absolutely together, but it's now Boyer, Van Toth, Dimitrov, Masson, Ratican, Kadapik, and then it is Luca Leistra. Up the inside goes Van Toth on Dimitrov. Or is that the other way round now? Yes, it is Van Toth defending from Dimitrov, and Dimitrov goes through. So Georgi Dimitrov up to second position in front of his teammate Delano Van Toff. These two are swapping positions. They are losing time to Marty Boyer doing this. So Dimitrov was back in front. Now it's Delano Van Toff back into second position once again. But these two Fusion boys should not be battling with each other at this stage. They're allowing Marty Boyer to get away. And now that is Josh Ratican up the inside of Esteban Masson. And Rimo Kadapik looks as though he's going to try and follow through to get into fifth place as well. And he's done it. So a good move there from Rimo Kadapik. But Marty Boyer is away in the lead of this race. Second place, Delano Van Toff, the Dutchman. Third is Georgi Dimitrov. Then it is Ratican, Kadapik, and Esteban Masson with the 1-2-7. Luca Lystra leading the charge behind. So across the line, Marty Boyer has the lead. Then Delano Van Toff. Second, third is Georgi Dimitrov. Ratican, Kadapik, and Masson are next in line. And they are battling away for position. They're trying to get closer to the Fusion of Georgi Dimitrov. The ebb and flow of the early stages of this race, very evident. Lystra is there in 7th position. Samba Lota, fastest lap of the race in 8th. Then Pilka. Ivanov is 10th. Then it is 11th position for, I think that is going to be Hugo Belder-Romov, who has got himself there into 10th place now in front of Alex Ivanov. Then it is Ken Oscar Algra in 12th place. Enzo Juliet, 14th position, a little way behind the Oscar Algra and Enzo Juliet battle. In 14th position, that looks like, I think that's Alicia Barrett, is it, having worked her way forward? Yes, she's making up good progress there, Alicia Barrett. She was there in 20th on the starting grid, but Alicia Barrett has worked her way a little bit further forward. So now the Fusion driver working very hard, and she puts herself further up the order to 14th place. Tom Leben's gone with her in terms of moving up the order. So Tom Leben's in 15th position, but it's a big problem for Josh Ratican. Ratican is all the way down the order now. I think Ratican has come off the circuit, the 37. Certainly can't see where Ratican is now. Looks like Ratican is out of this race. What a disaster for Josh Ratican on the back straight. There he is, having got to a stop. Josh Ratican is now there on the back straight, out of this race. What a shame. So it is an interesting battle now for the rest of the field, with Ratican having a big mechanical problem. And he looks absolutely dumbfounded on the back straight, it has to be said. What on earth happened? How can I be out of this race? But Josh Ratican has ended his first heat in disappointment. As now we've got the battle for the lead as Delano Van Toff makes the move on the inside of Marty Boyer. Beautiful sweeping pass. Now Marty Boyer's going to try and get him back. He's not going to do it at 16. He'll try and go for turn 2, no doubt. Out of this slipstream he will come down the straight once again, and Marty Boyer pointing towards Delano Van Toff. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Delano Van Toff moves slightly across the line to turn 2. Defends beautifully there. And this could back Marty Boyer into Delano Van Toff's teammate, Georgi Dimitrov. See, this was the sensible move. Delano Van Toff and Georgi Dimitrov, they stopped battling with each other and they started charging forward towards Marty Boyer again. And now they have a game plan. They could beat him here very beautifully indeed. So a good battle here as we've got the leaders still tussling away. Delano Van Toff in front of Marty Boyer. Georgi Dimitrov, Rimo Kadapik, and Esteban Masson in 5th place. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Luca Lystra, although it's only 8/10 of a second now. Pilka in 7th, Balota is 8th, Hugo Belder-Romov is 9th, and Enzo Juliet is in 10th position. Then we have Ken Oscar Algra, Alex Ivanov, Alicia Barrett doing a great job in 13th. Tom Levin is 14th. Then Jerzy Spinkovic, Victor Sulan, Lola Lovinfoss. And then we have Maxim Meyer. And then in 19th position, we have Malinovskis in front of Filip Danilaiko. Although now it looks to me as though Jasper Hassanen has moved up into 20th position. And Alex Ivanov has dropped all the way back down to 12th position in the battle. So Ivanov is going backwards. So Ivanov, unfortunately, dropping down to 12th place in the final reckoning of that lap. Ken Oscar Alga got past him as well. Balota dropped down 2 places as well behind Belder-Romov and Juliet. So there's some great battles. And around the outside, is that going to be Marty Boyer making a switch to go past Delano Van Toff? No, not quite yet. But Delano Van Toff holding Marty Boyer at bay, and that is allowing Georgi Dimitrov to close in. So this is definitely going well for the Fusion Motorsport boys as they work together here. Delano Van Toff just trying to back Marty Boyer into Georgi Dimitrov a little bit to give him a chance to come through. And with 1 lap to go at the end of this one, it could get very spicy between our 3 leaders. Delano Van Toff of Holland, Marty Boyer of Spain, and Georgi Dimitrov of Bulgaria. Out of the final corner and down the straight once again. 1 lap to go. Marty Boyer's going to make the push into turn 2. Is he? Marty Boyer's going to try and sweep right round the outside of Delano Van Toff. Delano Van Toff keeps him sideways. You're not getting through there, mate. He shuts the door at 3 and 4. And Marty Boyer dives for 5. And Delano Van Toff didn't expect him to be there. He gets through. And that's going to allow Georgi Dimitrov to get through as well. Delano Van Toff's trying to move to cover him off. And he manages to do so, but Marty Boyer sweeps through into turn 5. What a move. Absolutely terrific overtake. He just got him into 5. I don't think Delano Van Toff expected him to be there, but a sweeping move. And that's why Marty Boyer is the talented star we know him to be. Absolutely stupendous overtake there from Marty Boyer into 5. Not many people would make that kind of overtake, but Delano Van Toff is not done yet. Here he comes again. Marty Boyer defends. Delano Van Toff trying to come right round the outside of 15. Marty Boyer moves to cover him off. They run sideways. Georgi Dimitrov doesn't quite have the advantage to come through. Now he's going to dive for the inside of Delano Van Toff, who moves to cover. Marty Boyer takes the checkered flag. What a battle! Marty Boyer wins it. Delano Van Toff is second. Dimitrov is third from Kanapik, Masson and Luca Lystra, with Oli Pilka, Sam Balota, Enzo Juliet and Hugo Belderomov in the top 10. What a battle from Marty Boyer and Delano Van Toff on the last lap. That was tight stuff, but Marty Boyer hangs on to his perfect streak in the IAME X30 Euro Series paddock. He won everything he started at Valencia. He wins his first heat here at Salbris. What a start to his weekend. What a battle for Marty Boyer. That was absolutely stupendous. Wow. Fantastic victory and a great battle between him and Delano Van Toff, with Georgi Dimitrov in the second fusion there in third place. Remo Kanapik for Ix Racing, Esteban Masson for PKS and Luca Lystra for Dan Holland Racing in the top 6. Then it's Oli Pilka, Sam Balota, Enzo Juliet, Hugo Belderomov in the top 10 from Ken Oscar Alger and Alex Ivanov. Great work from the Brits, Alicia Barrett and Tom Levin to get up into the top 15. Jerzy Spinkovic is 15th from Lola Lavinfos, Victor Sulan, Maxi Meyer, Matis Malinovskis, then Abramchik, Hassinen, Danilaiko, Josh Ratican recovers to, well, Josh Ratican out of the race, unfortunately, along with Javier Dudley as well. So a real shame for both of those drivers. Josh Ratican in 25th position could easily have been in that battle for the victory, of course, but mechanical problems keeping him out of contention. And that is a real shame. He had a great opportunity there to battle for position. So Josh Ratican out of the race in the early stages, unfortunately, but 8 laps of absolutely magnificent squabbling have resulted in a victory for Marty Boyer in front of Delano Van Toff and his teammate Georgi